Hello, everybody. This is Chris Butler with Rusty Barn. We're very excited to welcome you to Wild Wednesday Live. This is presented, of course, by the Quilt Craft and Sewing Festival. We're very, very close to being able to do live in-person shows, but until then, we really need your support. Thank you so much for all the support you've given us. Our vendors count on it. That's how they're staying in business until we get back to events, and us too, frankly. We hope that you'll make our vendor mall your first stop in all your shopping needs and that you'll continue to tune in each week for the show. Thanks again, and we hope you enjoy this week's episode of Wild Wednesday Live, and we'll see you in the mall. Thanks.
Hi, I'd like to welcome you all to Wild Wednesday Live, brought to you by the Quilt Craft and Sew Festivals. I'm super excited that we might be going live pretty soon at real shows to see you in the flesh. But until then, and maybe even after then, we will still continue to do these live shows for Wild Wednesdays Live. But I want to remind you of a couple of things before we start. We have a great lineup today. We have Raylene from Quilters Haven. We have Patti from Patti Cake Fabrics. We have Pat from Villa Rosa Designs and Linda Mcgehee from Gee's Designs. So I'm super excited because I always learn something new. But I do want to remind you that if you ever miss a video on a Wednesday, you can always go back to the Facebook page and watch it, or you can watch it on our YouTube channel. And we are all presenting and coming to you live from our homes or our shops. And so a lot of times it is over the internet, so we might have connectivity issues. It could be a storm, it could be anything. So if it's ever a real problem, we'll stop that vendor and bring them back to you, schedule them for another time. So for right now, I want to just turn it right over to Raylene from Quilters Haven. Hi, Raylene, how are you? Oops, wait, get your mic on.
I had to put on a sweater today. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I was going to tell you I had to put on a sweater today because it's freezing here in Arizona. It's down to like 68 degrees.
Oh my gosh, what I wouldn't do for 68 degrees. I had snow on the ground this morning, and I did a live at noon, and it snowed on us a little bit.
Yeah. I don't do that. I'm not down with that. So no, Thank you.
Right. All right. Well, show us what you have today.
Okay, guys, one of the great things for me about jumping in here every few weeks and doing a demo on Wild Wednesday is at the shows, my demos, my classes are all focused on the less than traditional circle quilts. So I really never have time to show you some of the other terrific products that we have with Quilters Haven. So today I'm going to share some things with you that you may not know we have. So Ron's going to tip the camera down so you can see the table better. We have quite a few different what we call nesting tool sets. So for example, this is our square set. And what you see is you're going to get all kinds of different sizes of squares so that they store really nice and easy. You don't have to have 7 or 8 different squares for different sizes. So I wanted to show you though, besides the fact that you can cut with our circles, our squares, we have rectangles, we have hexagons, diamonds, 60-degree triangles, 45-degree triangles. Besides all of those, these are also really good for fussy cutting. So for example, let me shove these out of the way here. Maybe you have a piece of fabric that you want to center a design on that fabric on your block. So for those of you that are beginners and maybe aren't familiar with the term fussy cut, that just means you're going to cut the fabric in such a way that that design is going to be featured in your block. So what I can do is I can take the different sizes and see how big I can cut that block that I'm either going to make the center of another block or it's going to be the primary block. But that way, I'll be able to tell whether or not the size I thought I was going to do will actually work without taking any of the design out. And then at that point, depending on how big you want that square to be, then you can either, mark to the outside or cut directly, you can cut directly with your templates on the outside, or you can mark your inside however big a size you want it to be. Same thing if you were going to use the circles. I've got some of the circles here. If you wanted to make a circle in the center, you're just going to try the different sizes and see which one's going to line up best so that you don't lose any of that design. So that's a second advantage other than just cutting your quilting pieces with our different nesting tools. And I'm going to have Ron just kind of turn the camera over here just so you can get an idea. We do have two different sizes of our hexagons. We have diamonds, circles. We've got 45 triangles, 60. And on the bottom, you probably can't see them, but we have rectangles and also squares. So those are all on our website. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew we had all those great tools. And by the way, everything that I'm demoing today, our show special through tomorrow night, Thursday night at midnight, is going to be 25% off. And that's the biggest discount we have ever offered on these particular tools. So you want to take advantage of that. It'll save you quite a bit of money. So now I just want to real quick, I want to spend a little bit of time on another item that we have and we've had for many, many, many years. And that's Drunkard's Path. You know, Drunkard's Path pattern pieces can be used for a bajillion designs. And I always like to share this with people. This particular book is out of print now, but this was one of the best books ever done for Drunkard's Path. It's called The Path Less Traveled by Betty Kaiser. She used to do shows with us back in the day. Beth probably remembers Betty. But if you ever see these in a thrift store or, you know, in a yard sale, be sure you grab this book, especially if you love Drunkard's Path, because she does lots of great designs for Drunkard's Path. Now, I did a real quick block that I just wanted to show really fast. One of the things that makes our Drunkard's Path kit unique is you're getting 4 pieces. Now, if you're familiar with Drunkard's Path, you know this is the 2 pieces you need to make the Drunkard's Path. But what we have done is added a couple of extra things. First of all, we give you the square up for that size. So once you get the block all together, you can square it up so that the size is true. So not only are you getting that for your Drunkard's Path, but like in this particular set, you're getting a 6.5 inch square to use for other things. But the best tool that we include in this kit is this little guy right here. Because you know how difficult it is when you need to mark a curved seam allowance. So when we're doing Drunkard's Path, we've got these 2 pieces cut out. We're going to mark on this piece. What this little tool does is there's a line. I know it's probably hard to see on the camera, but there's a line on the seam allowance. So if you take that little tool and you put the line on the outside edge of the fabric, then quick and easy, you're going to be able to mark your sewing line rather than trying to guess around a curve. Isn't that cool? That simple little extra tool makes Drunkard's Path so much easier. Then a lot of times people will say, well, I always have the hardest time getting them together. So I'm going to show you guys a little tip that you may not know about. My mom always called this the 3-pin method. My mom loved Drunkard's Path and did them all the time. Even, you know, when she wasn't doing circles, she was doing Drunkard's Path. And a really quick, easy way to line those up is to take this piece, fold it directly in half, and then just finger press right there in the center, okay? Do the same thing to the other piece. So both your concave and convex pieces, you're going to fold them in the middle and just kind of finger press where the center is. Then what we do is we're going to line them up and we put 1 pin right in the center so that we know we've got the center pieces together. Then we're just going to come around and we're going to line up the edges, put another pin. And I'm realizing I'm not real good at this when I'm doing it in front of everybody watching me, but go around and do on the other side as well. By doing that 3-pin method, then it makes it easier for you to sew around those curves and be sure that those 2 pieces match up when you sew them. Now, I also just real quickly put a block together just to kind of give you an idea. This one I'm showing, I decided to use a bigger one so you could see it better. This is the 6-inch Drunkard's Path. But look what happens. When I put 4 of those together, I get a 12-inch block. So imagine how quickly you could use up a whole lot of scraps. Now, before anybody says anything, before anybody comments, You know, this block took me all day long. I was interrupted so many times. So imagine my horror when I opened the block up and realized I'd turned this fabric backwards. I know that's never happened to any of you guys. So I just wanted you to see that I mess up all the time. But I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to take it out. It was just to show you a simple block. But you know, anytime with those two pieces, if you just do two kind of a contrasting a light and a dark, you can get gorgeous, gorgeous looks. Now this, when you order a Drunkard's Path kit, you are going to get a little free pattern with it. And this is actually done inside the large, less than traditional circles. But just the designs of the Drunkard's Path will give you some ideas for, you know, blocks that you can do. You don't need to do it with the circles, but I'm going to include this. And of course you can, don't worry about the fabric requirements for this size, because you'll be able to figure it out if you decide you want to use a bigger size template. And then I also want to show you, this is the quilt that's on the front there. You can see that. And again, this is just using up a lot of scraps because, you know, again, this was one of the smaller ones. I think this is either the 3 or the 3.5 inch that she did this with. But again, it's put inside the large, less than traditional circle, but you could have just sashed those blocks together the old fashioned way. It doesn't have to be a circle. Again, there is absolutely no end to what you can do with the Drunkard's Path. So for example, this is just another picture I pulled off the internet with that same block that I just did, just doing that circle in the center. And look what a cool quilt, but imagine how many scraps you got to use up doing that pattern. And then also, where is it at? Here we go. I wanted to show you, we have our turtle, and I was digging around in the van trying to find this quilt, and I never could find it, so I'm just bringing you the picture. But this turtle is done just with the 2 pieces of Drunkard's Path and then adding a little head and a tail. This is a really popular pattern. We've had this for years. The pattern also comes with the 2 Drunkard's Path pieces that you need, or the kit size that you need for this one. But probably one of our most popular patterns of all time that's not less than traditional, not the circles, is Rambling Under the Sea. This pattern came out in 1988. The first, is that right? 88. Originally in 1988. The first show that we took it to was up in the Sacramento area in California. It was the River City Quilt Guild show. And we just finished the pattern up. We made like 24 patterns and thought, wouldn't it be cool if we sold all those? And by the end of the 2-day show, we had orders for over 10 dozen of this pattern. And it has continued to sell really well over the years. In this one, you're not only going to get the pattern, but you're going to get all the acrylic template pieces as well that you need to do it. And then I'm going to have Ron pan up so you can see the actual quilt, which is right behind me. So there's our pattern. But here is Rambling Under the Sea. So here you can see those Drunkard's Path pieces. It's the same size piece. It's using the different fish. It's just the larger fish have more of those pieces. So this is a really fun, really great pattern, especially for anybody that likes the water and likes fish or likes to fish. So that is also on the website. So today our special is going to be all of our nesting tools and any size of Drunkard's Path. And you can see here on the table, we have quite a few different sizes of Drunkard's Path. Any of those, if you purchase a Drunkard's Path, again, you're going to get that little free pattern that'll just give you some ideas for blocks. So all of the Drunkard's Path, all of our nesting tools, including the turtle and the fish pattern, are 25% off if you order by tomorrow night at midnight. And our code is WW25. So I hope that showed you guys something maybe you hadn't seen before. But more than anything, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm glad sometimes when Beth and I switch host hats so that we can actually show you some of our things. So if you have any questions, I'll be back at the end of the show, so you can wait and type those in then, and I'll do my best to help you out. So thanks, everybody. Oh, we got Beth. Let's see. Let me vamp here for just a minute.
Sorry.
There she is. That's okay.
It's always so exciting to watch the demos because even though we're right across from each other at Phoenix, we're always so busy, we never get a chance to see what each other have. So it's super exciting. And I love the circles for Fussy Cutting.
Oh yeah, they're great. And not just quilting. I mean, scrapbooking and all that kind of stuff too. A lot of times you need those templates just to do a little fussy cutting on your paper even. So they work great for all that stuff. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So we are going to go right to the next vendor, but don't go anywhere. I know you know this already.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere because we're going to have questions and answers at the very end. So if you have any questions for any of the vendors, please hold them till the end, and then we will make sure that we ask them. And we have our next guest. Did we get back in contact with Patti? I know that we had her and then we lost her. Yep, she's there. Oops, undo your mic. Put your microphone on.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can totally hear you. All right, welcome. Let's see what you have to show us today.
Well, hi everybody. I'm Patti from Patti Cakes Fabric. Welcome. And we're located in Fort Mojave, Arizona. So if you ever are in the Laughlin area, or if you're in the tri-state area, which is California, Nevada, and Arizona, come on by. We're open on Fridays and Saturdays in our warehouse garage, and we'll be happy to welcome you to our shop. So today, what we're going to be talking about is the new book called Quilts in a Jiffy, 3-Yard Quilts by Donna Robertson. These books have been a great tool for a quick quilt. If you need a quick quilt for a baby quilt or as a hostess gift, these are a great project. So today I'm going to show you some examples. This is the brand new book that just came out in February. It's flying off the shelves, and show you some projects. So the first one is the button box quilt out of the book. And this pattern is great for working with a border print. This border cuts perfectly at the size required for the pattern. This right here. So it would look like you went to a lot of trouble piecing, but you're just going to cut one of the strips and you're going to cut this into blocks. So the way that Donna's patterns works is that you're going to have a focal fabric, which in this pattern is going to be our border print. So that's going to be fabric number 1. Then you need 2 other coordinating prints, number 2 and number 3. Now these are interchangeable. Number 2 and number 3 are always interchangeable. Normally number 2 is the lighter of the 2 prints, which these 2 prints, but because these are very medium prints, you can use them either way. I think this would be really cute as the little squares on this background of the ladybug fabric. So this is brand new, called Button Box from Fabric Cafe, Quilts in a Jiffy. Okay, so perfect for border prints. The next one is a quilt that I'm working on. It's from a pattern called Dominique. Okay, this is the book, Modern Views. This is the individual pattern. The individual patterns are great. They're $5.99. However, if you want to make the quilt bigger, I would recommend purchasing the book because the book does give you the requirements to make a twin and a king queen. So normally you would have a 3-yard bundle such as this. So if you wanted to make a twin, you would buy 2 bundles. And if you wanted to make it a king queen, you would use 3 bundles. So that would be 3 yards of your cat, 3 yards of your polka dot, and 3 yards of the heart. And this is the pattern. It's a little modern looking pattern called Dominique. It's in the book also, called Modern Views. You may already have this book. It's been out for a little while. And this is the quilt. It's in process. I'm just putting the final borders on. And this particular pattern works great for 2 focal prints. So the cat focal and the hearts. And then this is your 3rd. So this is number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3. So what I discovered that I want to talk to you about is that in her books, she uses what is called an economy border, or I'm sorry, economy binding, which is a 1.5-inch binding. So if you want to use more of a traditional binding, if you're more comfortable with that, I would either use the backing fabric, which on this size quilt is a 3-yard piece, or you could use a coordinating print. You may have enough left over I will have enough left over that I could actually do a scrappy border on this quilt. And I think that would be really, really cute. Or you can buy additional 1/2-yard fabric and use it for making your border a little bit bigger, or for that binding, if you prefer a little bit larger size binding. So the great thing about these patterns is that there's very little waste or no waste, which I enjoy, because when I started quilting, fabric was around $8 a yard. We all know fabric's about, in the $12 range now. So I think that it's a great way that if you're more of a kit person than building a stash, this is a great way to get started. It's a great beginner quilt. So there's a little fussy cut heart here that you can fussy cut right in the center. Okay, so this is called Dominique in the Modern Views book. So the third one that I want to show you is called City Lights. And this quilt looks totally different than the pattern. This is the pattern in the Fast and Fun 3-yard quilt book. This book has been a bestseller for a couple years. It's been out for a couple years. And I used basically the same tone of prints. I just felt that I just really love these fabrics, and I did that. But in here, it shows you how to use your fabrics. This is your focal print. Your fabric number 2 is your light, and then fabric number 3 is your darker. But as I mentioned, in these patterns, your fabrics will not be touching. You will never have, for instance, this purple fabric touching another purple unless it's meant to. So you can always transpose number 2 and number 3 in the pattern. Okay. So another great thing is that these patterns really lend themselves to stripes. Here's a cute little bundle that's called Old Guy's Rule. And it has a truck and a horse, and I've put this bundle together with a matching coordinating solid, which would be your number 2, and then your dark would be your stripe. So in this bundle, the stripe, you're not going to be having to match the stripe the way that the patterns are cut. So you can certainly practice and use up some of those stripes if you have any in your stash. Great way to play with stripes. This is another cute bundle that we have called Cosmic Space. This just came in from Michael Miller. It's a cute toddler age quilt, or elementary school quilt. It has little emojis in the little planets. You should get up to the camera and show you this a little bit closer. Really cute fabric. That's the coordinate. So this would be number 1, number 2, number 3 would how you would put that in your quilt. We'll work with any of the patterns in the books. So what I have found in each book is that she provides a pattern that will work with either 1 focal and 2 solids, or if you have 2 focals that you really love, you can't decide, you want to put them both in the quilt, there's usually about 4 patterns in the book that'll work with that. So it's very versatile. So to tell you a little bit more about the patterns, it's done with a strip assembly. And a strip assembly is the same thing, what she calls I'll show you a picture here. So this is a strip assembly. So you're sewing your strips together, and then you're cutting them the other direction. And they're called strip sets or strip assemblies. And that's how the quilts are built in all of these books. Again, this is the new one, Quilts in a Jiffy. Our special today is our coupon code is Patti 20 on any of our books and our bundles that I've shown you. And also our door price today is a $25. There's one more quilt that I want to show you. This is in one of the older books. And this is a directional print. As you can see, you can use directional prints without any problems in these patterns, because normally they're pieced this direction. If you want to fussy cut them, you certainly can. They work great for large focal prints that you don't want to cut up. These, I have all of these speckles. These are called speckles by QT. I have them in every color: purple, orange, green, yellow. They're great for borders, sashing. They're really cute to add to coordinate with one of the fabrics in your quilt. And there's about 14 different colors and speckles. They're great. Carry them. I have them all the time. They're a blender. Great blender. So I want to thank you for watching today, and I will give it back to Raylene and our hostess. Thank you.
Perfect. I know it's all confusing. Thank you so much, Patti. That was exciting. It's always fun to learn new tips and tricks and ideas and be inspired. And those are great books. If you don't have them in your stash already, girls, you need to get them into your stash. And we have a coupon code. What's your coupon code one more time, Patti?
It's Patti 20. Patti with an I, 20.
Perfect.
And that's a 20% discount. And that's until midnight tomorrow night.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much. We'll see you in a little bit with questions and answers.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I want to remind everybody that we do questions and answers at the end. So if you have any questions for any of the vendors, type them in more towards the end so they don't get lost in all the comments. But I'm super excited. I've been kind of following the comments, and I know I'm always the last one to know, but Chris just posted that we're having a show in Boise, Idaho, the end of May. So I'm super excited to get back on the road. I think my husband might be a little bit excited to get me back on the road too, because he just put 2 new batteries into my van. So we're ready to go whenever the shows actually happen. So stay tuned for all the latest dates, and you can see them on our website. The discount coupons are good until tomorrow at midnight. So make sure you take advantage of that. And you can just go into the quiltcraftsomall.com. And then there's going to be a little, I was dyeing fabric today. There's going to be a little, Wild Wednesday Live logo, and click on that, and that will take you to the discounts. And then I just want to let you know that the code word for today, because we have 5 fabulous gifts that were donated by the vendors who are on the program today. The code word is so creative. So creative, because I couldn't come up with anything else. I know. Coming up with code words is harder than you guys think. So if you ever have any ideas, let us know, because it's really stressful. All right, so we're going to go right to Pat with Villa Rosa Designs.
Hi, Beth. Can you hear me?
Hi there.
Okay?
How are you? Yeah.
Good.
I heard you had snow today also.
We are snowing up here. We're snowing as we speak. I had to let my staff go. I had to wiggle my way up this hill. We're up in the mountains in Northern California, and we're just above the snow level at the shop here in this industrial area. We're up by the airport. So it can be challenging to scoot up that last little climb, and it was. I got very good friends with the highway patrolman who helped me wiggle my way up the hill so I could make it here today. And I kept my
Perfect.
staff
Well,
at
we're
home.
glad you made it.
So glad I'm here too. So today what I want to talk about, we are again here in Northern California, and we do hit the shows when we can. So I'm excited to maybe see Boise. What I want to do today, we are Villa Rosa Designs. I'm the one who came up with the little patterns on a postcard here. Came up with this about 10 years ago, and it has just gone crazy for me. So we do a lot of patterns with fat quarters. We know you've bought all these fat quarters bundles at your shows, and you put them in your stash, and it's time to make some of them up. And what I want to show you today are patterns that use just 6 fat quarters. So probably any bundle you have, any little bit of stash is going to make them up. They're all terrific for giveaways because they haven't taken up that much fabric. And again, you can work a bundle up and go to town. Most of them are an evening project, and we're going to have, again, the pattern's going to be complete here for the little project, as well as the instructions on the back side. Pure and simple. So I'm going to show you patterns, and I'm going to show you a few samples. We do a lot of kits here. Now, I don't have everything I'm showing you in kits, but we do have the patterns on the website. Website is villarosadesigns.com, and you can find all of our kits and bundles and patterns there. So first, to start off, which one do I want to show off? One of my very, very favorite ones to do is Sunsprite. Sunsprite, again, takes just the 6 fat quarters. It's kind of a streak of lightning, and it's not quite squares. It's a little bit wider than it is tall. I like the brick shape that's a little longer one direction than the other. And also, I don't like to have leftovers when I get done with a project. Scrapbooking is wonderful, but I've had 40 years in the business of making up samples, and I have so many leftovers and scraps. Nowadays, when I sew, I want to take that bundle, use it up, and be done. So this first little quilt is Sunsprite. I believe I do have kits online for this. It takes 6 fat quarters and a binding fabric. With 6 fat quarters and no extra fabric in them, they finish up about 36 by 45, which is what this one does. And again, the block itself, or the little piece, is a little bit wider than it is tall, which throws people sometimes. I've had more questions on this. Why isn't this coming out right? But the reason I designed it a little wider than tall is because I wanted to use up that fat quarter efficiently. I do not want leftovers. So this is Sunsprite. The little kit for this pattern would be Sunsprite Aquarelle. We have sections on our websites for kits. We have section on our website for patterns. If you go to the navigation bar on the website and drop down patterns and drop down to cards or digital, within that you will see a way to sort on the left side to sort the patterns by the fabric requirements. So if you're looking for 2.5-inch strip patterns, you can find them at a little sort section. If you're looking for fat quarter patterns, you can sort them there as well. Another one we've got is called Easy Does It. Did I pull the pattern out? Up? Maybe I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. So Easy Does It takes, no, this is Happy Child. Wrong. I do have hundreds of patterns in print right now, so I'm getting to the age and the quantity that I cannot remember all the names anymore. This is Happy Child, takes 6 fat quarters and a little spacer in between the pieces and a sashing between the rows. This most recent kit I did is from the collection, Florida collection by Ruby Star Society. And I did alternated pink and red and navy on these. The pieces get sliced up out of your fat quarter very efficiently. Again, we use the little spacers in between to give it a little more size and to split out, to separate out the prints. I love busy prints. I'm all about the artwork and the prints, and I have to calm them down every once in a while by putting some spacing in between. So that is Happy Child. And let's see, next in my stack is one called Mojave. And it makes a little pinwheely thing that you may or may not be able to see real well from there. But it takes 6 fat quarters. 4 are used for the dark in the block, and then the two of the lighter pieces get used as the background. And then it uses 1 yard of fabric, theme fabric. We've got the 1 yard here. We've split it up into a big section and a small section. This also works like we have here in this kit for panels. a standard size panel, and I'm going to scoot this up a little bit. A standard panel can be used a 24-inch by 42-inch-ish, although I think I cut it down a little to fit, but it can fit in that large section and then just another fabric at the top. So we do have a kit for this online. When we cut these pieces too, we've cut 4 of the darker pieces for the little pinwheel and 2 of the light pieces for the background. And there are extra leftover, there's a little extra leftover fabric off that fat quarter. So I cut squares and turned it into borders down the sides. I wasn't going to let that go to waste, and I didn't want those leftovers in my scrap bin. I have scraps all over this place. So that is Mojave. And then we have some just other favorites here. I don't have too many more kits of what we're blowing through these pretty fast with everybody home sewing. So, but another favorite of mine is Eureka, and it doesn't take any extra fabric. It just takes the 6 fat quarters, so it finishes up 36 by 45. Nice little lap quilt, little baby quilt. You can add a border to it and get it up to a much bigger size very easily. So that is Eureka. It's made up with a very simple strip set. This one happens to be in the grid collection. I don't have a kit, but it just shows you how we can put together a lot of different fabrics. This is a collection by Art Gallery, and all of their designers, I love their things. They always do a wonderful mixture of lights and darks and different patterns that complement different scales of patterns or designs, and I love the way they work up into patterns like ours. Moving along to another favorite of mine is Gold Metal. It uses long strips. We cut the fat quarters into long strips and then put some squares for accent. On this one, you can use, each row can be 1 accent fabric for the squares, or it can be 2, or it can be 3 or more for those squares. It can be, well, no, I guess it isn't that size, but at any rate, this is Gold Metal. This kit, I think we are sold out of at this point, but it's a great one. That long shape gives you a chance, in particularly on this particular collection, you've got Rapunzel in her tower. So the long shape allows us to show that off well, which I love. And I just think the long shape just shows off prints in general well. So that is Gold Metal. It takes 6 fat quarters and either 3/4 of the yard for the contrast squares or 3 extra fat quarters for the contrast squares. And it finishes up 42 by 52. Another, let's see, this is Nashville. And surprisingly just uses 6 fat quarters, but we've got some lattice to break it up. I tend to use prints for this, so it's nice to have that breakup of the lattice. And that's what this is. Just a simple little framey block. I get very, very busy. I'm a huge fan of busy prints and Anna Maria Horner, and I finally had to discover background fabrics to tame it all. So that's what this one is in Nashville. You know, some of our patterns are easy to expand into bigger quilts because they're block repeats. Others might be a little tougher because of the way they're put together. All easy strip sets and almost everything. We're going to use your fabrics up. So Crimson Glory, another very similar kind of thing. It's going to have a center fabric or 2 and then 6 fat quarters to do that framing. There was leftover pieces, so they got put in a border. And that's what we're going to see here. In this case, we happen to have a collection that had 3 green fabrics and 3 red fabrics. So we split up the 2 blocks, made them all green or all red, and then the fabric in the middle. This is adorable in kids' quilts as well. We've done a lot of those over the years in this one. This finishes up 52 by 64 by the time you add that bit of background. A favorite of mine is Ebb Tide. And I need to put a new cover on this guy because these fabrics are not, don't show off the possibilities all that well. But it takes 6 quarters and the lattice, cutting them up into 2-3 sizes. And the pieces in this can be positioned in different places. You can do them all scattered. You could do something common in some of the squares. And we've done that in various and sundry versions of this. I have a friend who makes these all the time. This is an African, a group of African looking prints. Let's not worry too much about the side here. I've used a busy background in the African prints and just scrambled those pieces that we cut. And in another version, when Frozen came out, and how many Frozen quilts did we all make? I took 6 of the prints for that. And in this case, I decided it felt more cohesive to have each row the same print. And I think that works well. Of course, if they were right side up, but I think it works well for something scenic to have each row be the same print rather than scramble like we did on the original pattern. One of my very, very early ones here is Opening Night. And I tend to do very busy prints, so you hardly see it, but it uses almost like a Chinese coins. It's got lattice in between the rows and top and bottom. We take 6 fat quarters and make a little strippy piecing kind of thing. They're blocks, repeat blocks. And then we put this theme fabric in between. And I take that theme fabric and cut it into 6 equal pieces to do the lattice work or the borders, whatever you want to call them, in between the rows and on top and bottom. This particular fabric, which of course is long gone, by Clothworks, it was a stripe that had 6 stripes printed across. So I was able to cut each stripe for a row and put those in between. But Opening Night makes it very easy to use a theme fabric, just one length of theme fabric, cut it into 6 pieces, and it fills in and gets the job done and shows off something really exceptional. Very, very much like my Ebb Tide is Discovery. I just went for a little different shape pieces. It gave me a chance to feature one of the fat quarters in the middle. So that's what this has. This is the First Frost collection, and we've got one of the main prints in the middle and long pieces on the sides in something that goes well with that, and then different size pieces top and bottom. And depending on the collection of prints, I either go with the Discovery or the Ebb Tide. On my original pattern, I loved how this stripe worked on either side. It was a chance to use that to the optimum amount there. Another absolute favorite, especially for giveaways, is Child's Play. It is just the 6 fat quarters. We use every bit of it. That's Child's Play. Got to find the right place. Child's Play there just uses the 6 fat quarters, finishes up about 39 by 45 because we haven't wasted anything. And this is a good one too for scenic or theme prints. You can keep everything going right side up, which I do for a lot of our patterns. So it allows those prints to be right side up, bigger strips in the middle and smaller strips on the outside. This probably takes about an hour to piece up, and it's just adorable every time you do it. And another one, this was fun to play with, is Darcy. Darcy can be made out of 10-inch squares. It can be made out of scraps. It can be made out of 5-inch strips. It can also be made out of 6 fat quarters. This one was not. This was made, I think I'm going to trim down a layer cake or 10-inch squares, but at any rate, and probably make 2 quilts out of it. But you can use fat quarters and play with that. This particular one is scrappy with the rainbow colors. If I had just 6 fabrics, I'd probably decide on a sequence and repeat them over again. Let's see, that one's not going to show up too well. Show off a couple more and then just run through a couple patterns. So transport here is by one of my other designers, Catherine of Running Doe Quilt. She has some wonderful modern quilt patterns for us. That uses 6 fat quarters and then 1.5 yards of a background print, or in this case, I used my background print being the busy one, and she used 6 different little theme prints and then the solid dark gray for the main. Another real quick here is Starfire. It uses 6 fat quarters and then contrast for the stars. And that's what's going on here with the boutiques. And quick stitch and flip stars on that. And before, I know we're getting close here. We don't want to tie you up too much. Another Child's Play, we showed that. And yeah. Oh, just for fun. And I think Beth will appreciate this. This is an older set of prints from Laura Gunn. Just wonderful stuff. This is 6 fat quarters, but the big print's cut up so it feels like you've got more fabrics. That could be done Happy Child, or in this case, it was, see, I forgot my pattern name already. This one was Easy Does It. Again, big prints make it look like you have more. Just real quickly, Escapade, a little wonky block. This Cherish is fun with a theme fabric, stripes in between, and your 6 fat quarters. And Odyssey, another one that knocks out 6 fat quarters in a jiff. Great giveaway quilts over and over again. Showstopper, same kind of thing. It uses that brick shape and builds around the center. So I won't hold up the line here any longer. If you shop on our website, we are doing a 20% discount between now and midnight tomorrow night. So our discount code is WW20, and it's good through tomorrow night on everything. We do free shipping, so we are a great place to shop. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pat. I always learn new things when I watch you, and we use your patterns for kitting all the time because it allows us to make more samples quickly.
Yeah, the patterns. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you so much. All right, stick around. We're gonna have questions and answers at the end. Thank you.
Okay. Later.
All right, I just want to remind everyone that we do have, all the vendors have a coupon code. You're just going to go to the quiltcraftsomall.com. This is how you can order anything that they're showing you. Go to the mall and click on the Wild Wednesday Live logo, which you see at the top of what we're watching right now. Click on that logo, and that will take you right to the vendors for this week and their specials. I do want to kind of remind you that the code word for today, and every vendor has donated prizes, which is kind of what keeps this exciting. So be sure to thank them because, you know, that is something that they're going above and beyond to keep the show exciting by donating the prizes. The code word is so creative. So creative. So just type that into the comments. I was cracking up because Raylene sent me some notes, and she says, of course, if you don't want to win, don't type it in. So if you don't want to win any prizes, don't type in so creative right now. But if you do want a chance at winning, type it in. But only type it in once. You only get one chance to win. And I want to remind you, if you ever miss these shows live, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is, it has everything from the day we started. So you can see everything. All right, I'm going to turn it right over to one of my favorite guests, Linda Mcgehee. Are you there, Linda?
I'm here.
Perfect.
Oh, I know
I was looking for you.
Okay, very good. I'm so happy to be here. I'm not going to tell you what the temperature is outside, but I was about ready to turn on the air conditioning. I just checked my phone and it's 77. So I'm sorry about the snow.
That's like swimsuit weather.
Well, for some people. Don't push it. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna let you go ahead with what you've got to say.
Okay, thank you very much. I just got in some new zippers, and a couple of weeks ago when I was on, I showed you a pattern that was called Taylor's pattern, And this is a couple of the bags. They're real quick and simple. I showed you how to do some of the zippers, so you'll want to go back and take a look at that. But I put together a kit that has black and white zippers. There's 36 inches of zippers here, actually 2 pieces of them. They're black and white. They have a real fun little pull. It's a little bit longer than the pull that normally comes with it, along with the webbing and also the swivel hooks. So that's put in a kit. So all you need is fabric. I know you have a little bit of fabric left over, and this is a good fat quarter friendly project, and it's just super duper quick to put together. So this is my door prize for today. So put in the words that Beth said a while ago, and you'll be up to win that one. Now today, I'm going to talk about, they mentioned that we can start traveling to go to the shows. And so Boise's the next one. And you need a big bag to put your stuff in, or take it empty to the show and fill it up while you're there. It was actually started off with my friend Linda Winter. And Linda Winter comes to a lot of the shows with Martelli, but she has her own designs, Winter Designs. And she designed this template. It has the gripper on the back side of it. And it was designed to make fabric boxes. She has actually 3 sizes now. I haven't gotten my hands on the 3rd size because it just came out. But I have the 2 sizes right here. And what I did was take these, place the fabric on the fold. Normally this is a cut edge, but I placed that on the fold, and I was able to make a bag. So it is a new pattern. It just came out in the late fall. I called it the L bag because it's a combination of Linda Winter and Linda Mcgehee. So the bag is this size, is designed as a duffel bag. There is a zipper pocket on one side, but one thing I like to do is put a half a zipper on the other side. In my mind, if it's an open pocket, I put different things in it than if it's a closed pocket. Closed pocket's a little bit more secure. I did put an eyelet on this because I saw kids walking around with their ear attached to their backpack or whatever. So I thought this is a good place to put their equipment, and the cord can come out there. If you want it, fine. If you don't, that's okay too. I also use, because these are wide straps, I use my In the Round embroidery CD, and there's 27 designs on this. Some of them are for 4-inch and some of them are for 5-inch. And I use that as a holder for the straps. And I think what I'm going to do is stitch it to one of the straps so I don't lose it, because I've been kind of having trouble keeping track of it. It was designed as a cord manager. So you put your cords in here for your cell phone and all those other cords you have to keep track of for all this wireless stuff we do. And it has a snap on it, so you can stay organized as opposed to having a lot of tangled up cords. Well, let's take a look at another size. This is the size that is used with the regular size template. So this template created the bag. And I chose not to put a zipper down the center of one of the panels. I put it on the side. And the way it goes together is when you sew the straps on to cover the raw edges of your pocket, you're actually forming the pocket on the inside too. So I'll show you that in just a minute. I showed this to one of my friends, and she said, Linda, that's a Givenchy. And Givenchy is a big designer, and their bag that was made similar to this was $19.95. Now somebody said, Linda, I can pay $19.95 for a bag, but I'm talking about $1,995. So copy the expensive, not the little inexpensive. Buy the inexpensive. The difference is the way the end goes together. On the Givenchy, they had 4 inset corners that they had to put a piece of fabric. With this, The points all come together and it is slick as can be. Linda was real smart when she did that. Linda Winter, I'm talking about. Now, see, I've got lots of bags within a bag. I think you need to make a set. So this one matches my large one, but what I wanted to show you was the inside. What we have done is put together a kit, and we have several kits with different colors of zippers. So you need the fabric, but we have everything else included. It's the zippers with the webbing. What else is in there? The pulls, the zipper for the inside pocket, and some stay tape. And I'll show you why the stay tape in just a minute. But double open zipper. On the inside, is a set of pockets that go, this is one piece going all the way across, but we formed 3 pockets. And because I know you need a place for your Mad Money or next key to the house, or maybe you want to have a platform in the bottom to keep your bag flat. I mean, my bags are full, so I don't have to worry about that. But this zipper pocket allows you to put a platform, extra key to the house, your Mad Money in the bottom, and it clean finishes everything. So as you're putting it together from the outside, you're actually forming the inside. I know a lot of you have long arms and you need projects to use the fabric that you were experimenting with how to use the machine. You know, sometimes we don't start off with the technique doing our best work. We have to play with it a little bit. So you can build the fabric in the colors you want on the long arm, or you can purchase double-faced quilted fabric. It's getting to the point where you can't find that too much. Or you can quilt the fabric on your sewing machine. You could, of course, use a tapestry if you wanted to, or some of your home deck fabrics. But the fabrics that I'm showing, this was done on a long arm. This was pre-quilted fabric. And this one was done on a long arm. And we used the foam. Now, I am not the long arm person. I have a friend who has a long arm and she likes to make extra money. And I think it's my job to support her. So when I find fabric that I want quilted, I just throw it her way. So this was quilted on a long arm. It does have the foam inside it. So notice how it maintains the boxy shape. It's still, you can see the end really well on this one. And take a look at that purpley pink zipper. That's another one of the colors that's in the kits. We've got, this time I decided to go ahead and make closed zippers on both sides, but I know you're always looking in the wrong pocket when you make too many zipper pockets. So I think you need a happy medium of zipper pockets and a happy medium of open pockets, and then kind of have yourself organized. In working with bags, I've always said there are 3 things that are important. One of them is the strap. The strap needs to be wide enough to accommodate the size bag that you're working with. You need a happy medium of pockets. Some need to be open, some need to be closed. And the third rule about bags is you never make a bag any larger than you're willing to carry it full. Because if you look at people's bags at the show, no matter what size it is, it's always full. So if you want to just carry the basics, Taylor's bag is your bag. If you want to carry a little bit more, then of course you'll need the duffel bag. Now I want to show you some quick, easy tips to do when working with this pattern, and you can relate it to other patterns too. You need 4 of the panels. And I'm kind of on a zipper roll, and I found some zipper fabric, so I'm going to make a zipper bag. So you need 4 pieces like this. And one of them is going to be cut in half. It so happens that on this particular piece, the way the zippers go, or the way that I wanted the zippers to go, is the crosswise grain. The crosswise grain gives a little bit, so therefore you need to stabilize the fabric so that you don't get a ripply effect when you sew the zipper on. I'm sure you've sewn a zipper in something before and it looked beautiful, and then when you washed it, you had this roly-poly zipper. Well, if you stabilize it, and I love this stay tape. It's a woven stay tape. It's fusible, and you will fuse it to your fabric. And then when you put the zipper in, it doesn't stretch. The fabric doesn't stretch. Now I have stitched one side of the zipper, and I use the all-purpose foot to do this, and then roll the fabric back according to the amount of zipper tape that you want exposed, because sometimes you want a little bit of the tape to show. If you don't want any of the zipper tape to show, you can roll closer to it, and that's not enough to make a difference in the size of the bag. This is a very forgiving pattern. If it does make a difference in your project, then you were probably in trouble anyway. But we've put the zipper in the top, and I have begun a zipper. This is just half a zipper. It's going to be an open pocket, and I am laying the lining. I'll do it upside down because it'll fall better that way. I'm laying the lining on the back side, and I will place my webbing to cover the raw edge. So I don't have to fold anything under. So the webbing comes around and covers the other edge. One tip is, if you let the webbing stick out maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, you'll be assured of catching it when you stitch that seam. If you keep everything even, then a lot of times the webbing has a tendency to slip and you might not catch it. You want the webbing to be secure. So as we're stitching the webbing on, we're forming the pockets on the inside. On the other side, I decided to put a zipper that has, it's a real zipper, so I can close the pocket when it's finished. You'll notice that I've stitched this on, but you don't see any pull. And the reason for that is I slide the pull on after I've stitched the tape down, so I don't have to stitch around that little curve, or I don't have to sink the needle, lift the press foot, and pray I get the pull underneath it. You just slide the pull on, but don't forget the pull. Otherwise, you're going to have a permanently closed pocket. So let me show you how easy it is, and I think I can do this up in the air. Actually, maybe I will just tilt this down and okay, this is the longer edge. So I'm going to pull the zipper apart on your slider. The flat part is the bottom, the rounded part is the top. And there are specific pulls for nylon coil, which is what this is. It looks like metal, but it's actually a nylon coil. And I'm sliding the coil in either side of the slider and just zip it on. So you have a nice clean finish. In the center of the bag, where the main opening is, I put a slider from either end so that I can open the bag from both ends. So it can open like this as opposed to having to pull from one end to the other. So you can imagine if I had tried to stitch around this big honking pull, that I would have an uneven edge up there, but it's nice and straight because of the way I've done it. Now, I'm going to trim this part of the zipper off before I put the strap on. Now, when you start putting everything together, you have one side pocket that has the strap on it, another side pocket that has the strap on it. You sew these pieces. Make sure you sew the correct ones. I want a side to the bottom. So you will sew from one point over here all the way to the other point on the other side. You will have two sections that are like this, and then you sew the two sections together. One tip is to leave the zipper pocket open that goes into the main bag. If you don't, then you're going to have a little bit of trouble turning it right side out. Now, I haven't mentioned how you put the secret pocket in. So we're going to take a look at it on this piece. Now, those of you who haven't been around me much don't know, but I've been playing lots and lots with zippers. And Beth and I have a webinar coming up at the end of the month. So you need to be either on her list or my list. And you can get on my list by going to mcgehees.com and just click that you want to be on the newsletter. I promise you aren't inundated with mail because I'm the one that writes it, and I'm not going to write you a note every single day. So usually you get something once a week, maybe depending upon what's happening, you may get something twice a week. Right now, we're close to the challenge, and I have started getting entries for the vest challenge. You still have a week to enter, so you have till midnight next Wednesday to get it in. So take your leftover scraps and make a wonderful vest. You can find out about that on our website too at mcgehees.com. And send in pictures of your vest. I will at a certain time have you send the vest in. They are going to be displayed at the Quilt Show Reno and also at ASG Convention. And who knows, if they want them at other shows, we will have them for display for a certain amount of time, and then I need to return them to the owners. But we've got all sorts of wonderful prizes, so get your vest in. Okay, and also join me with Beth at the end of the month for a class on zippers. There are 5 different zipper techniques that I'll be showing in that class. And we do it in a PowerPoint format, so you will get a PDF of that class included in with the cost of the class. So join us for that. Now, I want to show you how this inside pocket goes. This is actually here's the opening of the bag. These pockets are upside down, and I've put the secret pocket right sides together with one of those side panels. I'm going to lift that out of the way and roll everything up. If you've ever made swimwear, then this is the way we do the crotch in swimwear or undies and that type of thing. So you roll all the fabric up, then put right sides together, and you will stitch across this edge, pull everything out of that hole, and then you'll have to close the end so you have a completed pocket. So it's really an easy bag to go together. I'm starting to do classes on this in hands-on scenarios and hands-on classes with some of the other bags. I'm excited that by the May and June, we're going to be able to go teach in different places and be with you live. I love being with people live. This has been fun over the year, but it'll be a lot more fun when we can see each other in person. Now, for the L bag, if you click on the link that's on the Wacky Wednesdays, it will take you directly to a section that on my website I've called Webinar Specials. So to make it easy for you, I think, I've already forgotten, but I think there are 6 different colorways of the zipper. There's webbing. We put the zipper yardage, webbing, the pulls. For 2 zipper pockets, there's a zipper pocket on the inside, webbing, and to make sure you use the stay tape, I decided to include that in the kit. So I know this looks like metal, but it's actually nylon coil. So we have brass, nickel, copper, black tape, beige tape. There's purple, like you saw over here, purple or pink. I don't know. You have to take a look. I think there's at least 6 different colorways. We also have lots of fun zippers. I don't ordinarily do your basic zippers, but I have because we've started working so much with the smaller zippers. I have some bundles that have Baker's Dozen of all sorts of fun colors. They're not any yucky colors. They're all bright, bold, beautiful colors. And you can use an awl to take the end off and mix the colors of those two. It's much easier to do that than it is to cut the edge.
Perfect.
You can put everything, you can mix and match and play. That's the name of the game.
Perfect. Sounds exciting. And I'm glad that you're going to be joining me at the end of the month for your zipper class. That's going to be via Zoom.
Fun.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So let's just go right into bringing all of the vendors back on and we can do some questions and answers. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask any of our fabulous vendors today, just put them right into the comments. I know that for Raylene, Cindy wanted to know, she sews with the other piece on the top. Does the extra template mark the other piece?
No, I saw her comment, but I had just in case she didn't see the answer. No, unfortunately, it was done to be marked on just this one piece. It doesn't fit that other piece exactly the way it should in order to mark the 1/4 inch. So sorry about that, Cindy.
Perfect. Well, I do think that your guys's oh, somebody said Cat walked across her keyboard. Sorry. Oh, that was probably that weird little comment we had. It was the dang cat. Yep. All right. Linda, what does the bag package cost? They can go to your website and find out.
Go to the website and see. I have a bundle for the bag and then a bundle for the because the amount of zippers you need is different and the size of the strap is different for the small bag and for the duffel. So, and I don't remember offhand, but I did a really nice discount. And if you got both, then it's even a better discount.
Perfect. So you can find the specials that each vendor is doing. Just click on go to the Quilt Craft Sew Mall and then click on the Wild Wednesday Live logo. That will take you right to these vendors that we've interviewed today. Pat, what was the code? I think for Pat Fryer, what was the code you gave? The video garbled when you gave it.
WW20.
WW20. And Pat might be a little bit garbled because she's got a snowstorm she's dealing with. And everybody said, Pat, to be safe on your way home off the mountain.
Really?
What was the date for Boise, Idaho? It is, I do not believe it is with Alex Anderson and Ricky Timms. I believe it's just with us fabulous vendors. But maybe they've got something up their sleeves we don't know about, but I don't think so. But it's for May 20th to the 22nd. Great demos, ladies. Let's see. What any other questions? Oh, for Linda, can we do the bags on a serger?
Sure. These have, I usually finish the edge on a serger. There's a little bit of sewing on it, but you can do portions of it on the serger.
Perfect.
I mean, that's what I do.
Perfect. I would use a serger if I could only figure out how to thread it. I know that that's the threading one.
Serger. Come on, man.
Yeah. Get in the 21st century, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So I think that everybody's demos were pretty clear and we don't have any other questions.
Hey, Beth?
Yes. Yep. Raylene?
Since I actually have this information, if I can just share with everybody, tune in next week because we have 4 great vendors coming on again. I just want to let everybody know, I'll kind of give them a little sneak peek of next week. We're going to have Lori back from All About Color. Michelle with Aliso Irons is going to be showing us, I think she said, some stabilizer tips. And then, of course, Beth is going to join us again, but she hasn't told us what she's going to do yet. So that's going to be a surprise. And then we have a real special guest. I think a lot of you in Northern California are probably familiar with her, but Terry from Terry Sue's Toffee is going to come on and show us some great stuff she has coming up for Easter. So I just want to kind of give everybody a little heads up and a hint to what's coming up next week. So that was it.
Perfect. I love Terry Sue's chocolates. You can never get too much.
Oh, never.
Well, maybe you can't get too much, but it's a good thing. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And remember to log into Quilt Craft and Sew Mall so that you can take advantage of all the great discounts that are being offered. And thank you, everyone, all the vendors for all of your demos and especially for donating all of the door prizes. All right. We'll see you ladies next week. And don't
Are you
forget
gonna do
to
the door
share.
prizes? How do you do the door prizes?
We pick them after. I think
okay.
Raylene puts all the names of the
Oh,
people in, and then they have till tomorrow, Friday night, I think, to claim the prizes. So come back, check this website to see if you're a winner, and follow the directions to claim your prize, and then we will get the prizes out to you. All right, thank you so much. We will see you next Wednesday. Have a great week. Stay creative.
Bye-bye,
All right.
everybody. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.